Hey everyone, Matt from Soundrolling.com, and wanted to follow up with some more videos on the RX6 since I got it, RX6 Advanced. And one of the things Greg pointed out in one of my last videos that I did would be having an interesting comparison between the voice denoise, which is what used to be the dialogue denoiser, and there's this thing called dialogue isolate. So let me just quickly read you through on the old manual what they say it is, just so I can make sure I get it right. So the D voice is intuitive zero latency denoiser that offers high quality results on varying material. So it's basically very clever at analyzing the speech patterns and gives you the best noise threshold for your signal. So this compares to the isolate. Isolate is very close by. Dialogue isolate. Dialogue isolate is designed to separate broken dialogue from non-stationary background noise, such as crowds, traffic, footsteps, weather, all this kind of stuff. And so also challenges when you have a low signal to noise ratio. So basically it's very noisy and your signal is a similar level as the noise. So thought I would take one of these and then I can play this clip backwards or back to you through RX6 and we can see what happens on the same clip using some soothing sounds for sleep. This is a generic crowd in the background. So let me turn that up a bit. It's coming from over there. So now this is getting into more of a situation where I'm talking in a busy crowd and we're just going to see which one is kind of better at basically taking it away. Is it going to be the denoiser or is it going to be the isolate denoise? And the dialogue isolate is actually through the Connect program itself, through RX6 Connect, but I'll show you that all in the Spectrum. So let's take a look.
Okay, so here we are in Pro Tools, and I've made one green for voice denoise. I've used the original file, linked that back up to the video that I exported. And I'm using the isolate as well here. So let's first focus on the voice denoiser. So what you need for the denoiser is a couple of seconds of the actual noise that you want to reduce. And I think this is going to make it a bit tricky for the denoiser because there's crowds in the background. So we take it off adaptive, we learn, generally go for about 10 to start with. Select the audio that we obviously want to do, and let's see.
So let me turn that up a bit. It's coming from over there. So now this is getting into more of a situation where I'm talking in a busy crowd and we're just going to see which one is kind of better
bypassed
at basically taking it away. Is it going to be the denoiser or is it going to be the isolate denoise? And
okay, so the general effect that we're getting is that it's also slightly taking away some of the kind of bass or main tone of my voice. So for the purposes of speed, we are going to, because again we can get into these settings over and over and over and over again, but I've had a little play around beforehand, and what we're going to do is basically just copy the same settings for each thing. So we're going to go to connect, we're going to send, here we are, we're going to go down to, where is it, there, and the dialogue isolate essentially is just the dialogue gain. Do I want the dialogue to still stay at the same level? Do I want the noise to reduce? And what do I want the separation to be? The default setting is this. Infinity for the noise is obviously way too much. This is a suggestion for increased intelligibility. And I found that actually 2.5, and we'll keep 10 as the same reduction as the voice denoiser, because it's not necessarily about getting completely rid of the noise, but it's more just a process of trying to keep the actual voice that we want to hear sounding as kind of good as possible. So a nice little feature that I'll show you as well is that you can actually compare multiple ones and keep changing this, and then you can play the original and preview once that one's completed. You can preview a number before you process anything. On the preview for this won't actually pick up on my screen recorder recording straight from the kind of audio card, so I don't want it to come through a terrible microphone, so I'm just going to process this one straight away. But it's just handy to know that if I change this to this for no apparent reason, then I have that to compare to, and then I can select from there. But getting back to it, we are going to go for -10. We're going to keep the dialogue the same. We're just going to process it. And it's going to go along. You'll lose all your comparisons. So again, you can save as many presets when you're actually using this controller here. And then we're going to be able to play them along with the original. Do. So it takes a little bit of time. Already reduced the background quite nicely. Let's send it back. And then you have to render as well, don't forget. And now that's actually done. So now there's a comparison between the two of them. And what I'll do as well is maybe I can, that's exactly the same. See, few seconds, because we want to use the actual original file that's been unprocessed, and I don't want to use the video file, because that's obviously not going to be the same level, so we're not going to get the same exact results. So here we go. Okay, so original, we'll just skip to this bit because it's more interesting.
It's coming from over there. So now this is getting into more of a situation where I'm talking in a busy crowd, and we're just going to see which one is kind of better at basically taking it away. Is it going to be the denoiser, or is it going to be the isolate denoise? And the dialogue isolate is actually through the Connect program itself, through RX6 Connect. But I'll show you that all in the spectrum. So let's take a look.
Okay, and that kind of finished there, but let's just focus on what it's done to the noise. So the original was, and then we got the voice denoise as taking that down quite nicely. The isolate, it's actually picked up and isolated some more dialogue actually from the crowd. So my general, again, for the point of brevity, I guess, is that the isolate I felt has kept more of my voice, has kept it a bit more natural. Maybe there's a slight bit more kind of like gating in there. Again, that's just down to the separation parameter on the dialogue isolate. So again, that can be tweaked. And again, maybe even that separation can be put a bit more. The strength of it is pretty incredible. If I just use this one as an example and we go back, I can show you how crazy it can get. We can go for moderate. Now, moderate is still pretty extreme. So if I just process that straight away, and I'll show you what a kind of moderate isolate looks like. And it's pretty dramatic for the background. Notice over here for just the back of the spectrum, what happens in approximately 9 seconds. It's going to be pretty intense. But do let me know in the comments what you think so far. And hopefully it's again quite tricky to test these kind of plugins in depth. But look at that, this pretty substantial backdrop. So we're going to do that, we're going to render it. And then you're just going to be able to see, if I drag it next to the other isolate and make it large, I don't know what's happened to my menu there. The background has just completely fallen off. So let's just play now the extreme isolate.
So let me turn that up a bit. It's coming from over there. So now this is getting into more of a situation where I'm talking in a busy crowd, and we're just going to see which one is kind of better at basically taking it away. Is it going to be the denoiser, or is it going to be the isolate denoise? And the dialogue isolate is actually through the Connect program.
So we're noticing that we're starting to get, I mean, at -40, it's still pretty incredible that it's still only got that many artifacts. It actually worked quite well earlier on. But again, these things, it's trying to do the best that it can to completely remove. So hopefully that gives you a nice overview of isolate versus denoise. I think denoise, again, is probably better used later on and lighter, as a lighter touch. I think a more extreme scenario would be isolate itself, because then you're actually going to be able to capture the voice a lot better. So join me next time, and I will be going through and trying to compare the difference between the spectral denoise and the voice denoise. And then I'll be comparing any others. So do let me know, and even maybe even just the dialogue denoises themselves in terms of just having the same presets and just seeing if there's any difference. But loving RX6 so far. So tune in next time. See you later.